And turning now to the impact the pandemic has had on first responders. And by looking at the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation, the statistics are sobering. Since the beginning of the pandemic, there have been 450 law enforcement, 131 firefighters, and 75 EMS personnel who have lost their lives to the virus. This is throughout the U.S. Our Bill Churchwell checked in to find out how our local first responders are continuing to keep themselves safe. He joins us now with those details. Bill?
They put their lives on the line every day, whether that's responding to a crime, a fire, or even an emergency call related to COVID-19. A year and a half into the pandemic, and our first responders are still taking many of those same precautions they started out with in order to protect themselves. But what's different from the very beginning to now? Those vaccines. Like many others, our first responders are not immune to the impact of COVID-19. Right now, there are 4 employees within the fire department who are out sick with the virus. And when it comes to the police department,
since the inception or the beginning of COVID last year, so it's been a year and a half, we've had 120 officers that have had COVID, and we have currently 5 officers that are out due to COVID.
That's out of the more than 400 sworn officers that make up CCPD. Sadly, the department endured 2 COVID-related deaths in 2020. Senior Officer Charlie Chuck Williams and Deborah Garcia, who was a victim advocate in the Criminal Investigation Division. Today, Lieutenant Michael Pena says the department continues to do what it can to protect its employees, like providing hand sanitizer, masks, and gloves.
As many precautions as we can to keep from contracting COVID, because obviously we need all our officers out there in the fields.
When the vaccines rolled out back in December, first responders were among the first tier of recipients. Fire Chief Robert Rocha with the Corpus Christi Fire Department tells me 70% of his department is fully vaccinated. While it's not known how many CCPD officers have chosen to get the vaccine, Lieutenant Pena says the vaccine, as well as testing, is readily available through their partners with CCFD.
Last year, that's where I got my testing, and that's where I got my vaccination. So we are utilizing the fire department, and they're doing an awesome job about it.
Right now, the vaccine isn't mandatory for local law enforcement, firefighters, and other rescue personnel. However, it was during this week's City Council meeting when City Manager Peter Zanoni and his team said they were evaluating the option to mandate vaccinations as a requirement for city employees. He tells 3 News he is aware of Governor Abbott's recent order prohibiting mandatory vaccines and that they are also taking that into account. Bill Churchwell, 3 News.